how to close out a register. First, go to the Other page, and then click the Closeout Register button. In this case, we're going to simulate that there's been an error. It says improper shutdown detected. Now this error will pop up if the program has closed unexpectedly, and this could happen during a power outage, or maybe somebody trips and knocks the power cord out of the back of the computer, or somehow the program shuts down inadvertently. In either event, it's going to say, hey, I didn't expect the program to shut down, yet it shut down. So it'll throw this error. This error is only informational. Click the exclamation point to continue. Now notice we have green checks for internal checks. So in this case, this error didn't actually mean that there was a change. It just means that there was the possibility that we might expect there to be an error. So right off the bat, we'll notice that there are two check marks for employee sign-off and manager sign-off. This is because the account is running in demo mode, and in demo mode it will automatically authenticate and say that the employee and the manager have signed off on the cash out. Normally, you'll see red X's there, and you will have to individually swipe your card in order to leave your signature saying that you vouch, or in this case, sign for the total amount cashed out on the register. So when you initially open this page, you'll see the two X's, and then the first thing you want to do is check for this check mark here. If internal checks is checked, that means that every transaction in the register matches every transaction in the database in the server. And you might ask yourself, well, why wouldn't they match? Well, they normally should. And cases where they might not match, you had a power outage right in the middle of processing a transaction. So the register processes that transaction. The transaction is interrupted on its way to the database, and then you would have a discrepancy. To ensure the database and the register always match, so that you always have a high level of reliability, you will get an X here if there is any difference at all. In this case, it's a green check, so we'll ignore that for now and we'll move on. So, starting cash, the register is opened with $200. There are two total transactions. We are expecting to have $161.25 in cash sales in the register, and then $64.50 of card receipts. We used 0 gift cards, and our total sales was $225.75. We leave $200 in this register, so that means our total cash out is going to be $161.25, because remember, we put in $161.25 of customer sales. Now, typically those two numbers would be the same. You might find them different, however, if you refunded a customer cash for a transaction that happened on a separate day. And in that case, you will actually be shorting the register, say $10, and so that'll be annotated on there, and that'll add up. So then in that case, you would have your total cash transactions would be $161, but your cash out total would be $151 to account for that $10 refund you gave. Also, a manager could make an adjustment to the register, and then that would be reflected too, and you'd have differing numbers. So now, what we'll go ahead and do is we will simulate that there is a discrepancy between the register and the database. So we will close this out, and we'll click on Closeout Register. We'll see the error. We'll pass through that error, and here we go. Now again, normally you will see for employee and manager, you will see X's because nobody has signed that off yet, and they're not automatically signed off in normal mode. But importantly, what you will see is internal checks has failed, and you have a bunch of zeros in here, and that should also be an indication that something's wrong. Clearly, you'll have some amount of sales and some amount of cash in the register. So what to do? We'll go ahead and we'll click. This X now becomes a clickable icon, and we will select that X, and now we'll come up here and we'll see, oh, here's the error. So our cash in our database matches our cash on the register for 361, but our sales, our card sales, are only 20 in the database, but hey, the register's saying, nope, we made $64 So there's a clear discrepancy there. So we will click the Tool button here, which will fix that transaction. And now we will see everything is green. We'll click the check mark, and then now we will be able to cash out. So what that has done is it has actually found that transaction that with the discrepancy in the database, and it has updated it to be the same dollar amount as the amount found in the register, because it's safe to assume that anything in the register is the most accurate information, and that if something is going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong on its way to the database. So from here, now we can continue to complete our cash out. We will click this money sign icon, and that will go ahead and log us out of the register. It will print a cash out receipt, and now we are either ready to close up the shop for the day or perhaps have that new cashier log on.